Now to break down the key trends, challenges, and opportunities shaping the IPO market is Jim Neesen. He is managing partner at Connor Group, who is also hosting the IPO Summit again this year. Jim, it's always great speaking with you.
Trini, thank you so much. Excited to be here.
So you heard those stats.
Yes.
You know, very impressive. Talk to me about how those numbers match up to this year's.
Yeah, so this year is the best event summit that we'll ever have. We have over 715 companies representing approximately $1 trillion in private company valuation. So some really sizable numbers. I think what makes this year different as well is also the global diversity. We have 600 in the US, but we have 115 international companies from 40 countries. So you're just seeing a lot of momentum for 25 and 26.
What are you seeing the big trends that entrepreneurs should be focusing on as they prepare to access the public markets either later this year or come 2026?
Yeah, you know, I said there's probably three trends, right? We've known that sort of growth is a key part of your story. Profitability the past couple of years during the IPO winter was sort of the focus, but growth, what is your growth story? The second is what is your AI sort of component you want to have, and you don't make jargon speak, like something that really the markets can really understand. And I think the third is also what is sort of your long-term vision in terms of your market opportunity. A lot of times companies kind of get confused, keep the main thing the main thing.
And you know, this was a big year. We have a new administration. We talked about what the IPO pipeline landscape looked last year. What's ahead for this year and for the near term?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is, you know, 2023 was a year of rebounds. We had a 30% increase in IPOs, but you also had a lot of companies that didn't have access to the capital markets, both in private equity and venture capital. What you're seeing is companies really say, how can I be ready when the window is open? And it will be, right? It's like, we call it IPO spring because the spring follows the winter. Let's make sure that we're ready to actually get out there. The other comment too is with the markets at all-time highs, there are a lot of verticals and industries that are ready for this.
And you know, we work a lot, obviously, NYSE, we have a global reach, which is why we continue to work together on summits like this, Jim. But talk to me about some of the challenges or pain points that international companies face when accessing public markets that not necessarily domestic companies deal with.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of it is sort of number one, what are my comparables in the US? Sometimes you don't have that brand recognition. You're talking to institutional investors, you're talking to bankers, they may not know your business. I think the other is also having sort of that network and ecosystem. Being a listed company in the US, you need a lot of support and a lot of resources. A lot of times foreign executives haven't really done that. Spotify is an interesting example. They had to re-domicile from Sweden and they came into the New York market, set up their headquarters here. A lot of times you have to have sort of a duality, your foreign presence and your US presence.
Now in general, what would you say the biggest challenges are, the biggest hurdles that companies face when going public? And how do you address them in summits like the one that we're having here at the New York Stock Exchange?
Yeah, I think the first thing is you need to make sure that you understand your business to be able to give guidance to the street. I think a lot of companies don't really have a good ability quarterly or annually to understand, you know, sort of what is revenue and earnings. You don't want to go in the penalty box. If you miss estimates one quarter, you might have a year of evaluation hit.
Now, you work with a lot of entrepreneurs, C-suite executives, as you know, you help them navigate through the complexities of the ever-changing market landscape. What would you say are the common mistakes or most common mistakes that you see these companies making in today's landscape?
You know, I think a lot of it is, you know, for a lot of them, how do they invest in their business with that mix of both profitability and growth? We've had VC and private equity the past 2 years say it's all about profitability. I think it's like a pendulum. You really need to have both of those things because that next series of products in year 2 and 3 is what's going to give you those future valuations.
But how do you ensure long-term success after a company has gone public?
Well, I think the long-term success piece of it is, you know, maybe it's building out your roadmap. You know, I think a lot of times companies, because when they go public, they think that's sort of the destination. We really see it as a long journey. So when companies can build out 3 to 5 year type of models, but they really can stay true to them, right? They get the buy-in from the investors that they bring in. I think that makes a big difference versus working quarter to quarter.
Now, through your vantage point, what would you say are the major sectors right now that we're seeing accessing the public markets?
So I'll put 3 buckets out there. I think first is really going to be around the IT space. And if you double click on that, that'll be everything from AI to cybersecurity, cloud-based computing, but also software SaaS. That's the digital economy. That's probably a third of the pipeline.
And well, I was going to say, and AI, right? We're seeing a lot of startups in this space.
Yes.
Are you seeing them access public markets right now?
A lot of now it's more private. I think for them, they have to sort of build out and show revenue traction. We see a lot of companies in the AI infrastructure as well, right? It's the hardware, other pieces of it. But almost every company now has AI woven into their story. Sometimes it's not authentic. The markets want it that it really is authentic.
Well, Jim, it's always great having you on the show. Thank you for joining me again this year.
Thank you, Trinity. Great to see you as well.
Always great to see you.